Let's just get to the point. I'm gonna make Among Us into a 4-player multiplayer versus level in Mario Maker 2. Let's go. But to fit the format, we're gonna have to cut a few corners. And by a few corners, I mean a ton of corners. If you don't know what Among Us is, honestly, how? But anyways, let me explain it to you. Among Us is a game of social deception. There are 10 players, 8 of them are crewmates, and 2 of them are imposters. The crew does various tasks to hopefully go to their destination successfully, and the imposters try to kill everybody. If a crewmate finds a dead body, then they can report it, and that starts a discussion. In these discussions, crewmates try to prove their innocence, and imposters also try to prove their innocence. So basically, there's a lot of confusion. Then everybody votes on who they think the imposter is, and the person who has the majority vote is thrown out into the cold, dark void of space. The crewmates win if they complete their tasks, or if both of the imposters are voted out. The imposter wins if everybody dies. And there are many other features, like the sabotage system and the emergency meeting button. But now that you know the basics of Among Us, what's our Among Us gonna be like? Well, like I said before, we're gonna have to cut a lot of corners. In fact, we're gonna have to cut so many corners that this level is basically just gonna be a silhouette of what the original game was. It kind of resembles it, but it's a lot more simplified. The level we make will not have sabotages, cameras, vents. The way the imposters are chosen will not be random. Tasks will just be red coins for the crew to collect. And this is the big one. There will be no discussions. I know they're the staple of Among Us, but I simply couldn't make a communication system without it being super clunky and very hard to understand for the average Mario Maker player. Luckily, I will still be able to assign roles to the players, like crewmate or imposter, and I will be able to tell which side has won the game. But for now, let's look at what we have made. Hello and welcome to the section where I explain mechanisms that I didn't create. This is a multiplayer detector. As the name implies, it can accurately tell whether you are playing with people or alone. The simple version of how it works is that question mark blocks release 2 mushrooms when in multiplayer modes, and in single player modes they release 1. This difference allows us to make a machine that can divert our path from one way to another depending on the game mode we are in. The next area is just a line of text explaining the rules. It's very simple unless you can't read. This room splits the 4 players up into 4 different pipes. What's good about this setup is that none of the people can go into the other players' pipes. When the players go in the pipes, they will learn what their role is, either crewmate or imposter. And now we go from the beginning of the level to the end of the level, because now we have to make the contraption that decides who wins, the crewmates or the imposter. You know, for you guys, this will be a matter of seconds, but for me, this will most likely be a matter of hours. Let's get to it, I guess. Alright, I finished it, and I'm gonna try to explain it in the least complicating way that I can. The engine for this whole contraption is that Goomba, so when we're underneath these thwomps, they open up a gate for the Goomba to walk to. So, if all the players are there, which I'm simulating right now, then all the thwomps will go down and the gate will be open so that the Goomba can step on this note block. That drops a P-switch down which will block this shell from hitting the on-off block. Alright, pop quiz. Because that shell is blocked, who wins? Is it A, the crewmates? Is it B, the imposters? Or is it C, Bazinga? The answer is A, the crewmates, because to get there, the Goomba had to go through the gates, and if the gates are open, that means that everyone is there, and if everyone is there, that means that no one has died, and if no one has died, that is a crewmate victory. But how do we make a crewmate victory? Well, the imposter will always have a dry bones shell, and while wearing a dry bones shell, you cannot go through a saw blade while approaching it from above. So if the Goomba gets to the end, then the on-off block state will stay the same and a P-switch will start. This traps the imposter but lets the crewmates run free. But what about when the opposite happens? What happens if an imposter manages to kill someone and they should be the winners? Well, in that case, then the Goomba hasn't blocked the shell from hitting the on-off switch, so the states are the opposite. The crew gets trapped in the lower section, and a clear path opens up for the imposter. Finally, it's time to make the map that the players will be, playing in. Sit back, relax, and watch as I recreate the Skeld. Alright, let's take a tour of this map. I tried to keep the general layout, and yes, I know that it looks terrible. First, we have weapons, which not only has a coin, but also has a useful tool for the players, a spring. And before you ask, no, the spring does not mess with the contraption at the end. We also see the way that the imposter kills the crewmates, these icicles that are dotted around the map. This is navigation. It also has another red coin. This is supposed to be shields. Yeah, I know, it's pathetic. Next, a room that kinda looks like its counterpart, storage. It has another red coin. Electrical, lower engine, security, reactor. Okay, I have a very small, itty-bitty, kind of really big problem. I don't have enough warp doors and warp pipes to complete the level. Luckily, there is a solution, but it's not a great one. It involves me making the entire contraption at the end again, but this time in a sub-world, so I can't copy and paste it. But that only works if we have 2 more sets of warp pipes. And luckily, we have 2 right here. So if we just take out the section that explains the rules to the players, then, well, we have our game. Like I said, not a fantastic solution, but it will work. Alright, I better get started. See you in, I don't know, maybe 1 second. Alright. It's all done. It's all rebuilt. Let's clear this thing and I never have to look at it again. Please. It is time to game. You know, what I really love about clear checks is that you get to see the entirety of your level. You get to see everything you've worked on, every little bit. Alright, that is all. Thank you for watching.